Know China to do better business. Save time and money with expert insights on China trade and investment. Welcome to our channel, Trade with China. Today we are going to dive into the absolutely meteoric rise of China's auto industry on the world stage. It's a story of incredible speed, raw ambition, and a whole new global strategy that's changing everything.
And to kick things off, just listen to this from Elon Musk. That's a pretty heavy statement, right? It's not just hype, it really captures the stakes here. The question isn't if Chinese car companies will be major players anymore. The real question is how they're completely rewriting the rules of the game for everyone else.
Now, this didn't happen overnight, but in the car world, this was basically warp speed. I mean, think about it. Back in 2005, the industry was kind of a punchline, literally getting a 0-star safety rating. And then, less than 2 decades later, boom, by 2023, China becomes the world's #1 car exporter, blown past an industry titan like Japan. That is an unbelievable turnaround.
So what does this massive shift actually look like when you break down the numbers? Because this wasn't just a gradual change, this was a genuine tipping point for the entire industry.
And here it is, the big one. 2023 was the year it all became official. China shipped out 4.91 million vehicles, while Japan exported 4.42 million. That single moment ended a very, very long era of Japanese dominance in car exports. It's a huge volume that shows you the center of gravity in the auto world has officially moved. But here's where it gets really interesting. What's actually fueling this fire? Well, overall car exports are up a very healthy 14.8%, which is great. But look at this. New energy vehicles, we're talking EVs and hybrids, they shot up by nearly 90%. That is an absolute explosion. So this isn't just about selling more cars, it's about leading the massive global shift to electric. This right here is the engine. Okay, but here is the most crucial point, and it's really the core of what we're talking about today. This success is not just about putting finished cars on boats anymore. Nope. It's about exporting an entire industrial strategy, a whole new playbook. You can see how Chinese companies have leveled up their game in 3 clear phases. They started with step 1, the simple model, just ship the car. Then they got smarter with step 2, this local assembly model, which is called KD. But now, the big players are all in on step 3, exporting the entire ecosystem. And that is a much deeper, much more powerful global strategy. And just so we're all on the same page, KD literally stands for knockdown. It basically means you ship a car and a box of parts, kind of like a giant IKEA kit, and then you put it all together in the country where you're going to sell it. It's a really smart way to deal with tariffs and local production rules.
So what does this full ecosystem export actually look like in the real world? Well, it means companies like BYD are building their own massive shipping fleets to control their own destiny. It means battery giants like Caterpillar are building factories right next to the nickel mines in Indonesia. And it means they're setting up R&D centers like BYD is doing in Brazil to design cars specifically for local drivers. In fact, here's a crazy stat. For the first time ever, Chinese overseas investment in the EV supply chain is now bigger than domestic investment. That tells you everything.
So who are the key players making all these moves? Well, 3 companies really stand out. But what's fascinating is that each one is using a totally different playbook to win on the global stage. Chery, BYD, and SAC.
Just look at how different these approaches are. You've got Chery, whose superpower is deep localization. They're crushing it in emerging markets like Russia, mostly with traditional gas-powered cars. Then you have BYD, the tech monster. They control everything from the battery to the semiconductor, and they're all in on new energy vehicles. And then there's SAIC, which pulled off a genius move with branding, reviving the classic British MG brand to become a top EV seller in Europe. 3 giants, 3 completely different paths to the top.
Okay, so this global expansion is really impressive, but man, this is a big but. For you as investors and business partners, it is definitely not without some serious challenges. Let's talk about the risks and what this all really means for you.
The biggest, most immediate problem is politics, specifically the new EU tariffs. And just notice how uneven these are. SAIC, with its super successful MG brand, is getting slammed with a crippling 35.3% tariff. Ouch. BYD is facing 17%, and a Tesla made in China gets hit with just 7.8%. This is absolutely not a level playing field. It's a tariff wall that's designed to completely reshape the European market.
And the risks go way beyond just tariffs. Geopolitical shifts can happen anywhere, anytime. Russia was a huge growth market, then suddenly, bam, new import taxes just wiped out profitability.
Back in China, a brutal price war is absolutely crushing profit margins. And on top of it all, we're starting to see some early warning signs on quality, which could really damage these brands in the long run.
And if you want to see the impact of that price war in just one number, here it is, 4.3%. That was the average profit margin for China's entire auto industry in 2024. That is razor thin, way below other industries. For any investor, that number is a massive red flag about just how competitive and cutthroat this market has become.
So, you've got this massive growth on one side, but on the other, you've got tariff walls, price wars, and these tiny margins. It really makes you stop and ask, with all these risks swirling around, where is the real opportunity here?
And here's the answer. The real opportunity is in backing the companies that can actually navigate all of these headwinds. And the single most important strategy for doing that is deep localization. Just shipping cars from China is now a really vulnerable model. The only way to get behind these tariff walls and really embed yourself in the local economy is to build factories, supply chains, and R&D centers inside those target markets.
So, what can you do with this information? Here are the actionable takeaways. First, look for partners who are actually mastering that ecosystem export model. Second, don't just look at the sales numbers. You have to analyze a company's geopolitical risk. And third, understand their strategy. Are they winning with tech, like BYD, with a brand, like SIC, or with localization, like Chery? And finally, the ultimate winner will be the company that can somehow manage to survive the price war without sacrificing the long-term quality you need to build a global brand.
This channel will bring you practical knowledge to navigate business, investment, culture, economic trends, and communication tips in trades with China. Your comments really encourage us to realize our video value and update more useful information. Please press like and subscribe now for actionable insights and win-win solutions. Don't miss the possibility to understand and make money in trades with China.